Hello again, everyone. All right, so let's take it to the comments. All right, so one of my more recent comments says, super helpful. Thank you for this video. Please do a video on the palette. Excellent. Okay, so admittedly, the JD-08 palette section is not thoroughly explained in the instruction manual. It was a little confusing to me too until I figured it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how each of the tone sliders works, and I'll even go over an appropriate scenario for the palette sliders as well. But enough talking. Let's go ahead and get to it. On to the palette section. All right, so in front of us is an initialized patch. I'm going to use that to demonstrate the palette section. So what is the palette section and what does it do? Well, simply put, each palette slider takes on the attribute of the most recently altered parameter per layer. So let me show you what that means. Step number one, let's activate all of our layers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to activate each layer with a different wave group or a different waveform. So layer A, oops, hold on, let's exit that. Okay, so I'm going to go into note mode first. Layer A is initialized, perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is activate layer B. And then I'll go into active layer mode, deactivate layer A, and activate layer B. The reason I'm doing that in this mode is because I want to change layer B without having it impact layer A. If I want to make changes to both of them at the same time, I would activate them at the same time. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to alter each layer independently. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the waveform for layer B. All right, good. All right, deactivate layer B as the active layer. I'm going to make layer C my active layer. I'm going to exit the active layer mode, turn on layer C, and now remember, because C is my active layer, C is the layer that I'm going to be C is going to take on the changes as I cycle through. So let's see here. Let me deactivate A and B so we can hear C autonomously. Okay. A, B, and C together. Okay. Let's turn all of the layers off, and now finally we'll go to layer D. And then we'll make layer D our active layer. And so now let's change its waveform, because again, it is to initialize. So let's pick something random. Well, let's see. All right. Exit layer active mode. Turn on all my layers. Whoa, that's cryptic. Interesting. Okay. So now that we have whatever this is, let's start messing around with our palettes here. Okay. I'm going to go into, so let's focus in on layer A just for a moment. I'm going to go into active layer, layer active. I'm going to select A. Okay. Now with A, what I'm going to do, since we're still in note mode, is I'm going to hold one of the keys. I'm going to touch the frequency cutoff slider. Let's add a little resonance to that. Whoa. All right. So like I mentioned before, each palette slider takes on the attribute of the most recently changed or altered parameter. In this case, it was a cutoff frequency, and because I'm on layer A, guess what? palette A takes on the attribute. I think you see where I'm going with this. Let's activate layer B, deactivate A, switch over to layer B. And now let's pick another attribute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize the LFO1 attenuator. I'm going to LFO1 mode, and we'll see here. Okay, so the LFO1 attenuator is attributed to, or let's see here. Yep, here we are. So the LFO1 attenuator is impacting the wave group. So basically, what you're hearing are changes in pitch and extremely high frequency. But because I'm on layer B and the rate slider was the most recent attribute, was the most recent function to which I changed, palette B takes on the properties of the rate slider under layer B. Okay, let's go to, so let's activate C. Okay, now let's try something a little bit different. Up until this point, we've altered all of the ostensible sliders, anything that's pretty much underneath our fingers. But what about the effects or anything that requires menu diving? Well, watch this. I'm going to tap the effects button, and let's see, and we're going to scroll over to phaser. I'm going to press the value knob. Okay, so phaser, I'm going to tap the value knob again. Right now it's off. One notch to the right turns it on. Let's exit. And let's see, there we are, the rate. All right, so now I'm going to press the value knob. So right now our phaser is set to a rate of 2. Let's see here. Dialed up to 10. But because the phaser rate was the most recently touched, or the most recently changed, I can now change the phaser rate with tone C. Okay. All right, let's deactivate C, and let's go to D, and let's make D our active layer, and only D. Okay, now on to tone D. All right, so what we'll do is we'll activate tone D, make D our active layer, and we're still in note mode. Let's exit this phaser mode. And what can we change this time around? Let's go with LFO2. Let's go, yeah, okay, we can do that. LFO2. There we go. So what do I want the D slider to change? I wonder if I can, let's see here. I wonder if I can do this. Oh, wow. Okay, now that is an interesting discovery. I didn't know that you could do that. You can actually change waveforms. You can actually change LFO waveforms. Again, whatever parameter you change, the palette automatically takes on the attribute. It's actually quite interesting. That's actually the first time I've ever done that. So a confounding moment, yes. All right. Wow. Okay. But I think you guys see where I'm going with this. So let's activate all of our layers. Oops. Hold on. Let me exit. Turn on note mode. There we are. Okay, it's kind of hard to decipher what's going on, but you guys get the point. For the sake of performance, you can make alterations to all of the embedded parameters just by touching your palette. So again, say for example, if you're performing live and you don't want to dive through any menus in order to gain access to some parameter, well, you can just program your palette to assist with that on a per layer basis. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, one parameter per layer, but just taking into consideration the size of the module and taking into consideration the size of the module, it makes sense that they would do it this way. So again, a very, very powerful feature. And there we have it. All right, guys. So that pretty much does it for the palette section of the JD-08. Again, admittedly, the instruction manual does not explain that. I'm not 100% sure as to why, because to me it is a very, very useful feature, especially whenever you're trying to make alterations to an attribute on the fly, and that particular parameter is buried underneath 3 layers of menus, right? So yeah, I'm hoping that comes in handy. And again, one of the more appropriate scenarios for using the palette section is for a live performance, or if you just want to make real-time changes. Maybe I should do a video on motion sequencing here soon, but more on that to come. So either which way, if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon, and thank you so much.